Welcome back to the River Valley Redneck. Today I'm going to be assembling a new PC for my computer room. I've been wanting to do this for a while and been working a bunch of overtime lately, so I decided now is a good time to do it. Doesn't really cost me nothing. So let's get into it. And what I have here is a Mustech Y6 case. I've got 32 gig of DDR4. I've got my RGB controller, my cooler, and my thermal paste. And I'm going to be running a B660M PRO RS motherboard with an i5-12400F processor and a GeForce GTX 1080 video card. I'm going to upgrade the cooler and the video card and the power supply that I'm going to put into it, but I'm going to do that later on down the line because the cooler I want on it is kind of pricey, so I'm going to be saving up for that. So let's get started. This is one of the most crucial times putting a computer together because of that little bugger right there, which is your CPU socket. It has a whole bunch of little fingers and pins. And if you drop anything on it, like the CPU, while you're trying to put it in, it's pretty much game over. You bend those pins and it's done. This is the part that I really hate about putting a new computer together, especially an Intel or a newer AMD. The older AMDs, the pins are on the CPU side of it, to where on this it's just flat on the bottom of the CPU. So that makes it kind of tricky. So that's the most crucial part of putting a computer together. So you gotta be extremely careful. There's also a little arrow for orientation. You gotta make sure that's in the right spot. Next will be the M.2 hard drive. That will go right there, across there, with a heatsink on top. After that, I've chosen a 1 terabyte Western Digital. That little thing right there will go in this slot. It has a cutout in there, so it can only go one way. But you put it in there at an angle, It'll fidget it in, and it'll go down and set like that right there. Now for the cooler, has a back plate that has to go on here, and it only goes on there one way. It'll sit in them little holes. The tricky part is to get that flipped over. That way the holes are still in there. Now I've got to swap out these brackets right here. Find out which way these things need to go. Pretty sure they're going to go inward. For this, I like to do the thermal paste. Just a line across, maybe a little dot like that. That'll allow it to spread evenly. Now when you're tightening up your cooler fan, you don't want to tighten up one screw too much, so you just kind of a little bit at a time on each one, crisscross them to apply pressure evenly. And you never want to over tighten anything on a computer board. That's that for that. I'm not going to mount my fan just yet. I think I'll have enough clearance there. But it'll mount on here like so, and then these clips will clip onto the frame. You'll notice on there's a slot on the memory card. And inside the slot for the RAM, it can only go one way, like this. If you tried to put it in the other way, the slot is way over to the right, and it will not go in. So you have to make sure your orientation on your RAM is correct. When you put it in, when you push it down in there, you get slid in. There is a clip right there, these little clips right here. And you want to push down on it till you hear a good click. If you don't have a click, you don't have it slotted. And it will take a little bit of force. I've got the fan mounted on there now. The little clips just clipped right in. And you find your CPU fan. And that plugs in there. Hopefully enough room in there for me to finagle that cable in there and keep it a little bit hidden. Do that with two hands. And this cable is for RGB lighting. So I'm just going to leave it out because once I get it in the case, it'll be routed in behind everything. But you want to try and make sure you leave enough room for the screw holes. Okay, inside of my case, you've got these little standoffs right there. That's for the motherboard to mount to. So what I got to do is I got to set the motherboard in there, make sure all the standoffs are in the right locations, and make sure none of these are going to be touching the back of the board where it could short out. Because these cases are set up for different style and different size motherboards, so you have to make sure everything's right. So let me get around to doing that. Good. Here. gonna be kind of hard to tell. I'm shining a little light in there. I don't know if that's gonna help or hurt. But there's a hole there and a hole back here. Neither one of them have a standoff. All the other standoffs that are on there, they're all looking good. I just got to add 2 standoffs there. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 standoffs from down here and put them in those holes, and then get that bolted in. Now we've got the back plate, and that will go in this hole right here. That'll generally go with the keyboard mouse hole here with the USBs. They'll go to the top of the case on this one in this case. But it just slides in here. Well, that took quite a bit of force, but I was finally able to get her in there. A little snug fit. Now we're ready to mount the motherboard. There's the motherboard mounted in it. Now to just start getting all the wiring and stuff in it, and we'll go from there. Now comes to the part that I always hate. That's dealing with all these wires, figuring them out, where they go and all that.
I start complaining about my crate fence goes up, all blocked off.
Yeah, come here.
Hi, I'm Rob.
Sandra.
The state, any event in the area I call in Barkeysburg, they will not return my phone call like I'm about to hand that tree.
Sorry, I've already...
This is a gall. Look at the size of it. Ain't never seen no gall that big, bigger than the heart.
That's your cows?
Look at them tape. is 9. Here. Hoof. All turned in on itself. Half my calves born hoofs like that. Tumor, I done cut off the back of heifer. How'd you like that on your table?
What am I looking for?
You blind boy. Stones as white as the hairs on my head. Bleach, that's chemicals, I'm telling you. My animals drink this water, cool off in her. Get them bloody wells, them dead eyes. Charge at me, crazy like. Animals used to eat out of my own hand.
Where are the rest of them?
Come on. Beginning on bury them, each one. Their family. We got to be so many.
Well, here's the finished product. I think it looks pretty good. I saved y'all from the tedious work of cable management, because that sucks, and it's not my best work, but it ain't bad. It's the first computer I've ever had that I can actually sync up all of my LED or RGB lights on it and everything. Seems to be quite a bit faster than my old one. I think it looks pretty good. I've got windows up on it already. Now it's just setting everything up for all the stuff I had. So y'all be good.